Let's talk about this government shutdown. So, I can't begin to tell you how disgusted, disappointed, and just drained I feel about what's going on. For 35 days, we used, or they used, human beings as pawns to make a political statement. And I'm not sure people are really counting up the cost that these last 35 days are going to, and how the cost and how it's going to impact going back to work. Let's talk about this. First of all, let's look at this from a mental perspective. If I were a person who had anxiety or depression, this would probably have me on 10. Because all my fears, or whatever fears I have, it came to a head so quickly. And then the worst part is this stuff took place right before Christmas. What a way to celebrate the holidays. The mental toll this is taking on people. 800,000 people. And yes, there was something signed to give back pay, but that was not including contractors. And you want them to come back to work. It's draining. It's psychologically draining. It's probably affecting some people physiologically, right? And let's not talk about morale. I could not imagine having to manage people who have been out of work for 35 days and then just come back like everything is just gonna be all right. And then the bad part is that this is only for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, then we'll be back to negotiating people's future like it's nothing. And you don't have to believe me, but the long-term consequences of this shutdown is going to be felt for years. You know, people used to come to the government because there was a level of stability that you had and a level of security that you didn't have in most places. And now you don't even have that in government anymore. Hold that thought. I need a drink. Give me a second. This is working my nerves. No stability. And you wonder why you can't, and you think about this, companies and now the government, they aren't loyal to employees, but they want employees to be loyal to them. It don't work like that. And another thing that really grinded, is that the right word? Grinds my gears, is the level of insensitivity and the amount of ignorance that is in the world. People were saying things like, well, why don't they just get a loan? It's 0% interest. Wait a minute. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I'm not the dumbest. You mean to tell me banks are going to give people with job insecurity a 0% interest loan? Oh, okay. You believe that if you want to. Then something else that was getting to me is when I would turn on the news, and I try to have a very well-rounded perspective. So I listen to conservative news, I listen to liberal news, I listen to whoever's in the middle, so I can get all perspectives. And the language that I hear is along the lines of, well, Trump caved, but Pelosi won. Nobody won. Absolutely no one is winning right now. No one. We have people who have no job security. And I'm not sure if you all know, when I teach a training class on creating a motivating work environment, we use this model called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And there are different levels, on this particular scale, on Maslow's, whatever word however you want to pronounce it. And right above, and these are just the very bare essentials are like physiological needs, air, water, and then right above that is this thing called like safety, security. That includes financial security. You completely just took that away from them. Just no financial security just that quickly. And then another thing that I heard that got to me was people saying, well, this is why it's important to have 6 months savings. Because if something happens, you ought to be able to live for 6 months without a salary coming in. And I began to enumerate reasons why people really can't live 6 months and how it's kind of unreasonable. Listen, healthcare costs alone. Imagine you are a parent and you have 3 or 4 children that you have to insure, including yourself. What about elder care? Right? A lot of, as the boomers getting older, we have people living longer. Someone has to take care of them. A lot of them aren't going to nursing homes. Daycare. There are people who have actually had to quit their jobs because it was cheaper to keep one of the parents home than to send the children or the child, whoever, to daycare. What about student loans? These are reasons why people don't have 6 months just sitting around, 6 months worth of salary, 6 months of salary just sitting around. We're not even talking about how, yes, we have low unemployment, but wages have barely moved. So the cost of living is going up, but wages are not. And you got 800,000 people in the crossfire of people trying to make a statement. It's very disappointing. And that workforce is way too important for us to willy-nilly, with their job security, with their well-being mentally and physically. We've got to do a better job. There's a whole lot more I could say, but I think it's important that if you're a manager of someone who is going back to work after being out of work for the last 35 days, do your best to try to be present And if you're a manager and you've been affected by it, make sure you're taking advantage of your EAP programs. You know, get some help, because this is going to be mentally taxing. And we're not looking at it from the perspective. We're just looking at it from a war between the Democrats and the Republicans. And that's so unfair to the people who are caught in between. I don't like to use this platform for, you know, I want this to be positive, but this is the workplace. This is people who have to come to work and they have to live, and we're playing around with it. It's very disappointing, and I really think as a country, we got to do better. And we got to come up with something to where people's jobs are not used as bargaining points. No one's winning at all. No one's winning. And we're going to feel the effects of this for a long time. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much. You all have a great day.